All right, guys, I am back again with video number 2. Yay! And I have my coffee ready. So we're going to continue to talk about how to get started with your YouTube channel. And I've made a few notes, and then I have a special challenge at the end of this video. So let's just pull up the notes. I'm using my mic too. This is something that I use here. And for this video, I just decided to use the desktop because I'm sitting at the computer. But you don't have to get fancy. I will shoot more from just using the phone. Minimal work, minimal editing, and this is just a background that I already had set up. So don't be intimidated by that. All right, here is the information that I put together for you. So we're going to start out with how to solidify the habit. We talked about creating a habit in the last video, but how do you solidify that? Because sometimes what'll happen, you'll shoot your first video and say, I'm going to create this habit. And then the next thing you know, a few months go by. Now, what happened to the habit? Well, one thing that I did is to set up a calendar and print this calendar out and put boxes. And then you will select the dates that you're going to shoot a video, and you have to check off that date with a video, even if it means shooting one right before you go to bed, because you did commit and you're trying to solidify the habit, and you want to see that calendar, that sheet of paper with the boxes checked off on what you decide that your frequency is going to be. So next, set your goal right now that you're going to mess up your first 10 videos. What do I mean by that? That means that you aren't going to nitpick yourself and try to be perfect. But if you set the goal that they're just going to be messed up videos, it'll give you a chance to find your voice. It'll give you a chance to get in the habit. It'll give you a chance to feel more comfortable talking on the camera. Now, something that I also do that really works. If you're nervous about talking on camera, pretend that somebody is right there across from you and you're just talking to them. So just picture it as you having a conversation with a friend, or you're leaving a message for a friend on the phone and you're talking to their answer machine. Well, what would you tell them? So we're just having a conversation right now, just me and you, and I'm relating to you about the struggles I have with keeping video content up, because I still struggle. And I'll even tell you about how one of my real successful channels, how it's evolved and how I'm in a funk right now, which is why I'm doing this and forcing myself to set up a calendar, setting up a goal to mess up 10 videos, to just get them out there so you can solidify the habit, and then things will start to get better. So what do you talk about? A lot of people ask me, well, I don't know what to talk about. A good idea is to tell stories. Tell stories about some things that you have been through. Maybe you're on a pathway to getting a degree or getting a certification or learning a new skill. Well, tell stories along the way. For example, I shoot videos for my Color Boss channel, and I tell the story about how I go through the steps of painting a car. Or I'll tell a story about how this new paint gun that I bought at Harbor Freight Tools, if it's really good or not. The super cheap gun, or the middle of the road gun that was only $100. How does that compare to my $1,000 paint gun? Well, I'll tell a story and talk about that. That's a very easy way to produce video content, and it could be centered around one of your favorite hobbies, or centered around something that you do with volunteer work, or something that you do to help your friends in giving advice, or telling the story about something that you're struggling through and how you're evolving and getting through whatever this challenge is. Okay, so another thing you can do is speak in your area of expertise. I like to paint cars, so that's good video content. Something else I could do, I do engineering consulting work and a lot of spreadsheet work. I could tell stories about how I got myself established as an engineering consultant and how I worked up to the point of having 6 humongous companies, multi-million-dollar companies. Well, one of them is a $1 billion company and the others are like $100 million companies. I could tell the story about how I got to this point where I have 6 big clients in my area of expertise. Or another thing, I know a lot about health because I've gone through a bunch of chronic degenerative disease situations that I was able to reverse on my own by changing some bad eating habits. So that's an area of expertise. And what makes you an expert? I always say, well, the definition of an expert is this. If nobody can sit down next to you and talk more about that thing that you love, that hobby that you have, or something that you've dug in and done a lot of research, then you're an expert. If I go and stop 100 people on the street and nobody can know more about painting cars than I do, well, I'm an expert. So I am a self-ascribed expert.
Yay!
If there is some area that you know a whole lot more about, and it's a hobby or anything else, and you know the majority of people have no idea, well, by goodness, you're an expert then. So talk in your area of expertise. Now, what makes good content? Interesting stories or solutions to problems. Solutions to problems that cause pain for people is even better. Let's say, for example, I've gone through acute dermatitis where I scratch and itch to the point where my skin bleeds. Lots of pain. How did I get through that? And how did I solve that problem? Well, I tell a story of how I did, and I guarantee you there's a few million other people that are suffering and in pain right now that have the same weird condition that I have. So when you talk about how to solve a problem that causes tremendous pain, that's good content. So remember that. Now, a good example, I'm going to talk about how my cryptocurrency channel evolved. Let's scroll down a little bit. There's a channel that I have that I talk about cryptocurrency. And I started out making videos where nobody would watch. And I messed up my first 10. I'd have maybe 2 or 3 video views. I never had a like. That was nothing. By the way, if you're watching this, would you hit the like button down there, please, for me so I can know that you did appreciate this content and if it was valuable to you.
Woo!
Well, as I made my first videos on Crypto Pro, I would get no views, and then I would get 10, then 15, and I kept the consistency and I kept changing the format until I found my voice. And then I niched down. In other words, I talked about a specific cryptocurrency token that got 2,600 views out of nowhere because there was a bunch of people all over the world who were investing into this one project called Dent, D-E-N-T, that was 0.000005 of a cent. Now, I had bought like 100 million of this Dent token and I sold it for a little bit of profit. It was like $100 worth. And I forgot about it. And later on, that sucker went to over, I think, 3 or 4 cents. And if I would have kept that, I would have made like a few $100,000. Wow. Makes me kind of mad just thinking about that. But at any rate, there was a whole bunch of people all over the world who were investing into that project with the hopes that it would someday explode, which it did. And I discovered that if I focus on one project at a time on a video, I could find out which ones people really wanted to know about. And then I found out about this app called VV. And it's a cryptocurrency-based project that deals in NFTs, which is non-fungible tokens. That's nerd talk. But what you do, you download this app, and then you can get these digital, they call it augmented reality. And so I can get these various things like, say, I'll show you just one example of one. This is this Robin character from Batman. And so I can load this thing on my phone. You can barely see it because of the light in here. And then I can make him appear standing in my room right in front of me, and it's really cool. So I have collected like 320 of these things, and they're expensive. And so I had shot a video called How to Get Rich Collecting VV NFTs, and that sucker exploded. And it ended up getting like 30,000 views. And I went from a few hundred views and getting lucky every now and then with 1,000 here or there to 30,000 on one video. So every video that I talked about VV, I would get thousands of views, and I got monetized. So I was making like $100 a month for 3 months straight, and then I slacked off. And now I'm back down to getting 100 views because I didn't keep the consistency. So it's all about consistency, and that's why you need to set your goal and get your first 10 and just mess up. Which brings me to the last thing, the 10 video challenge. If you are watching this video, obviously you're interested in providing content on YouTube and starting your own channel. So I'm challenging you, and I'm going to throw out a name, Hayne Higgins, my good brother Hayne, my good friend. I'm challenging you right now. Since you commented on the last video, I want you to decide on your topic, upload your first video, send me the link, and then get your first 10 done within the next 2 weeks. That's my challenge to you. And I know that you're into some pretty cool things like that big telescope that you had, astronomy, and then you've got some hobbies where you know how to make stuff. And I want you to choose which topic you're most interested in and then throw up your first 10 videos. So that's my challenge to you, my man. But thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the like button and letting me know that this content is valuable. And I want you to ask any question you want about the challenges to getting your information up on YouTube. And as we go, I'll give you more and more technical information. But the most important thing today was getting that habit created and staying in the flow and finding out how to get your voice and deciding what you're going to talk about. So give me some feedback. Let me know how that was. And that is all I got. I'm out of here.